Hello students, hope you all are good. Myself Dr. Saurabh Srivastava, and today's discussion is moving ahead of factor pricing about the Ricardian theory of rent. We already discussed about the economic rent and contract rent, what is the differences between these, and how these differences reveal the importance of economic rent. Next, we have discussed about the gross rent and how do we calculate all these in formulatical manner. So, moving ahead, the Ricardian theory of rent. Ricardo was the main proponent of the theory of rent, and he uses the original and indestructible powers of nature, which has been given by the nature to the humans, and human use it and get profits. So according to him, rent is a portion of produce of the earth which is paid to the landlord for the use of original and indestructible powers of the soil. We use the land, and whatever we gain from the land is a profit. Now suppose the rent is equals to value of produce minus cost of the production. We can say it as any surplus over the cost can be called as a rent, or the amount of rent. Now moving ahead, there are two types of rent which has been described by Ricardo. First one is differential rent. There are differences in the land, type of land. Some land can be more fertile, some land can be less fertile, and their inferiority can be categorized as per their fertility. So these fertilities creates the benefits for the producer. If a land is very fertile, obviously the producer will get more benefits and can generate more rent over there. So the produce from superior land minus produce from inferior land. And the marginal rent is a portion of land which generates or covers only the cost of production. There is no surplus, so it is a zero rent land. Now in the next slide we'll be more clear about it. So the rent and types of land. There are two types of cultivation. One is extensive. Extensive cultivation means when we extend the area of cultivation, we can call it extensive cultivation. And the intensive cultivation means from the same land we can generate more output. So differential rate in case of extensive cultivation. So suppose we are taking example of three types of land, A, B and C. In their inferiority or superiority may be categorized ascending or descending order. A is more fertile and C is the least fertile in all of the three. So now we can see this figure. This figure is a portion in which we can say this is the A point, and this is the 25th. This is the output. So over the cost, which is the minimum cost which may be incurred for producing something, so above the 15 of the output, which covers only the cost, any surplus above the 15th unit of output is called as rent. When we move to the B portion, we can say when the population will be increasing, more demand is generated. More demand means more production is needed. So more production needed will be moving the production process from A to B. We will cover more land to produce more output. So obviously above 15 there is a 5 amount of rent which may be represented by this box of rent. When we reach to a level of C where only the cost is covered, so obviously the land C can be called as the marginal land. So in the next part we can describe it with the help of marginal cost and average cost curve. So any price above the average cost is called as the profit. So in the type of lands we can see when the land is more fertile, obviously the cost is lower than the price, so there is some profit, and that profit is called as the rent. In B there is less amount of rent. In C there is no amount of rent is generated from the land because it is a marginal land, and it can be described in the same format with the help of marginal cost and the demand curve of the customers. So we can describe it by the help of a table. Differential rent in case of intensive cultivation, we can say there are four techniques: 1, 2, 3 and 4. Marginal product. Marginal product is a product which can be described as an additional unit of factor is employed, then what is the output generated by that one additional unit of factor. So 50, 40, 30 and 20 are the marginal products, means output of an additional unit of factor employed in the production process. Now the next one is VMP. VMP is the price and marginal physical product, or the marginal productivity. When we multiply the marginal product to its price, it is called as the value of the marginal product. The cost is same for all the land. So obviously when we deduct this cost from the total value of the marginal product, we can say it is the rent. So from land, from the same land, when we use the first type, we can generate 30,000 as rent, 20,000 in the second method, and 10,000 in the third method. With the same land, in the fourth process, we generate no land, no rent. And obviously in this process, these three noting point is over here. Law of diminishing marginal returns operates in this process. The producer will employ up to that dose in case which the value of VMP becomes equal to the cost. Obviously any producer will not get the losses in this production process. And the marginal product is decreasing. There are three stages, as we know, that first is increasing returns to scale, then it is constant returns to scale, and then it is decreasing returns to scale. Now coming to the final figure to explain a bit about, that is the rent average cost. Obviously the average cost of the production process is the value of the marginal product curve, and this is the doses of labor and output, product and output generated over here. So whatever is generated above the cost is called as the rent. So the figure is clear. Value of the marginal product is equals to MPP into price, and this area above the average cost curve, which is comes under the VMP curve, is called as the rent. Hope this video is gainful. If any question is there, you can ask me in comment box, and the contacts are also given in the description of the video. You can ask anything. Thank you very much.